Hey guys, how you doing? Micah here with what is going to be our first quarter review for the Dear Critics Fantasy Review League. If you're new to the league, every quarter I make one of these videos where basically I recap what has come out and sort of where everyone's standing, and we just chop it up a little bit. And it's just a fun little time for us to kind of, have some talking points around. So I hope everyone's doing well in this quarantine time. So here we are. It's March 30th, Monday, and we're pretty much done with the first quarter of reviews. Resident Evil 3 reviews dropped this morning, so that's nice that we got an April release here in the first quarter. But looking at the upcoming games, I think that's pretty much all we're going to get. So it's time to do a review. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. We're going to be looking at the full league overview first and foremost. And here are the standings. Eddie is in first with 35 points. Alex is in second with 25. Excuse me, I guess tied with Amanda for 25 points. Alex and Amanda tied for second. And then bringing up fourth is Luke. And then myself, Jeff, and Marshall are all tied with nothing because we haven't had anything released yet. So I'm just going to break this down team by team. I'm going to go in draft order. First up, Wolfpack Family Games, Jeff. The only really thing of note here, he doesn't have a single release yet, but Skull and Bones was a drafted game by Jeff that he's going to have to, I guess, drop if he chooses to do so. We are allowed one drop per drafted game, and I believe per pickup game, I believe. So no points for Jeff so far, but Skull and Bones is not releasing in 2020, so he's already got his 0 there. Also, Jeff has not picked up any games so far. Next up, we have Alex with Half-Life Alex, the biggest game released of the year, and scoring big for Alex. He's got 25 points off of that one title alone. It was an open critic score of 93. Like I said, the best reviewed game of the year so far. And that's the only game Alex has out so far, so he's sitting at a score of 25. Next up, we have Amanda, who's got 3 games out already and really doing pretty good for herself. The second biggest game of the year, Animal Crossing New Horizons, came in and is currently sweeping the nation by storm. 92 open critic for a score of 23 points. We know that, like I said earlier, Resident Evil 3 just released. That was her round 1 pick. It is currently sitting... Actually, I'm going to pull this up live. The site says 81, but let me go to open critic real quick and get the latest, because that could be fluctuating. Resident Evil is still sitting at an 81 with 80 critical reviews, so I don't know if that's going to budge too much. It's probably going to sit right there at that 81. And then the third game that Amanda has is One Step from Eden, a smaller title, not a lot of reviews, but I saw that it has boosted up to 7 reviews as of today, and it's sitting at a 75 right now. So all that put together, actually, I said Amanda's tied with Alex earlier, but really she's going to be in second with Resident Evil. It technically hasn't gotten a score from Fantasy Critic, so that's going to get her, it looks like, 11 points. So she's going to have actually 36 points and move up into first place, even above Eddie. So anyways, correction on that standing there from a moment ago. It didn't take Resident Evil into account. Next up, myself, Doug's Vest Digital. Pretty boring. Don't have a single release yet. In fact, when you look at the upcoming games, there's not a game on my roster that is coming up. So I took a chance with my round 1 pick being Breath of the Wild 2. So obviously I'm waiting for the end of the year if that's going to happen. Otherwise, just a bunch of kind of wild cards we'll see here. So Doug's Fest Digital, we'll see. Moving on, Luke only has 1 release, and it was a big boy, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, scoring an open critic of 90, netting him 20 points. That's fantastic for just 1 game so far. So Luke has got a couple of big games coming up, actually, that everyone will be keeping an eye on. But so far, just Ori for Luke, 20 points. Next up is Brother Marshall. Also, not much to note here, kind of like Jeff. There's not a single release yet, but Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord will not release in 2020, so that already has a score of 0. So unfortunate there. He's going to have to probably drop that game, I would assume. Hadn't done it yet. We'll see what happens there. And then finishing up the league is Eddie, Crystal Cross Games. He's got 2 games released earlier in the year. Really kind of this good game streak began with Neo 2. An 86 Open Critic score, netting him 15 points for Crystal Cross. And then, of course, Doom Eternal, a fantastic second-round pick, though he was at the turn, I guess. Doom Eternal getting him an 89 Metacritic. That is 19 points, good for 35 total. So Eddie is in a good position with Trials of Mana looming in April. So that is everyone's score kind of broken down individually. I did want to just really quick, I did sort of touch on it, but just review the top 5 games reviewed so far this year. So at number 1, we have Half-Life Alyx with a 93 Open Critic, and that is on Alex's team. We have Animal Crossing New Horizons at number 2 with a 92 Open Critic score for Amanda. Number 3 is Ori and the Will of the Wisps at a 90 Open Critic score for Luke. And then Eddie has the last 2, the number 4 and the number 5 game. I just mentioned them, Doom Eternal and Neo 2 at an 89 and 86 score, respectively. So those are the top 5 games of the year. And then briefly, we'll look at the upcoming games. Thankfully, we got to see Resident Evil 3. Those reviews have already dropped, so that is taken care of, even though that's an early April game. But of course, arguably one of the biggest games of the year, Final Fantasy VII Remake, is poised for release April 10th. And that is on, oh crud, I should know this already. That is on Luke's team, yeah, that's right. So Luke is really looking for that one to send him up to first place. Also, we have Trials of Mana coming up soon for Eddie. Gears Tactics also for Luke. And then Minecraft Dungeons, I don't believe has an official release date, but is slated for April. So we'll see what happens with that game. That'll be Jeff's first game scored. A couple other games coming up soon in May. Marvel's Iron Man VR, Shantae and the Seven Sirens. And, of course, The Last of Us Part 2 finishing out the month of May, if that doesn't get delayed, I guess. Who knows what could go on with coronavirus. So, dear critics, that's our Q1 2020 review. I hope you're doing well. And again, just keep on picking up these games. Check your waiver wire. I picked up The Last Campfire the other day. Actually, I think I got it. Let me check. Yep, I got it. From the Nintendo Mini Direct. The Last Campfire by Hello Games. We'll see how that one performs. Whoop. About to break my mouse. So anyways, you guys have a good one. Talk to you later.